Hello, everyone. Kelly Ripa has a confession to make, and it's not one her fans want to hear. After 25 years of waking up with America, the live host is questioning everything, and a quiet conversation with Oprah Winfrey may be the only thing keeping her at the desk. For a quarter of a century, Kelly Ripa has been a steadfast fixture of American mornings. As the co-host of what is now known as Live with Kelly and Mark, she's navigated the evolution of daytime television alongside a rotating cast of legendary partners, from Regis Philbin to her husband, Mark Consuelos. But as she celebrated her 25th anniversary on the show in February 2026, a wave of emotional reflection swept through the studio, and the subsequent headlines sent fans into a tailspin of speculation. Was Kelly Ripa ready to walk away? The question hung in the air after Ripa made a series of surprisingly candid admissions about her future. In interviews surrounding the milestone, she uttered a phrase that no loyal viewer ever wants to hear: "I don't intend to work for the rest of my life." The sentiment was simple, honest, and immediately explosive. It sparked a firestorm of rumors, with tabloids and fans alike wondering if the Queen of Daytime was about to abdicate her throne. However, a deeper dive into Ripa's reflections reveals a story far more nuanced than a simple retirement announcement. It is a tale of legacy, the wisdom of a talk show titan, the reality of behind-the-scenes politics, and the one crucial conversation with Oprah Winfrey that made her reconsider everything. The milestone hit Ripa harder than she expected. Looking back at the fresh-faced actress from All My Children who nervously stepped into Kathie Lee Gifford's sizable shoes in 2001, the 55-year-old host admitted she never imagined she would last. During the anniversary episode aired on February 20th, she took a moment to address the studio audience and the viewers at home with a sincerity that felt different from her usual banter. "It really is the family and the group of people, many of whom you will never see, that make this show what it is," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "And really, ultimately, the thing that makes this show what it is all of you, our audience, both in-house and at home, who let us into your houses, your breakfast tables, your living room every day for year after year after year. In this day and age, that is so rare." It was a beautiful, heartfelt moment, but behind the scenes, the anniversary had triggered an existential audit of her life. In an era where legacy hosts like Ellen DeGeneres had signed off and long-running shows were facing the axe of linear television decline, Ripa was asking herself the hard questions. In a revealing interview with Decider, she laid her cards on the table. "For me, I always say this job and this place is so special that I really do believe in this show as a franchise," she explained. "It's a franchise show. Before me, there was Regis and Kathie Lee, and before Kathie Lee, there was Regis and a myriad of other hosts." This perspective is key to understanding Ripa's mindset. She sees herself not as the be-all and end-all of Live, but as a steward of an institution. This intellectual understanding of the show's transient nature is what allowed her to speak so freely about the future. "I believe this show will continue on for as long as linear television exists," she stated flatly. But knowing a show can go on without you and being ready to let it go are two very different things. When asked directly about her timeline, Ripa didn't sugarcoat it. "Contrary to what everyone around here thinks, I don't intend on working for the rest of my life. I really do not." For fans, those words were a gut punch. It sounded less like a hypothetical and more like a prelude to an exit. As her mind swirled with the symbolism of the number 25, Ripa did what any thoughtful person approaching a major life decision would do. She sought counsel from someone who had been there. She turned to Oprah Winfrey. Winfrey is perhaps the only person who truly understands the weight of Ripa's position. In 2011, after 25 seasons, Oprah ended The Oprah Winfrey Show, bringing down the curtain on the highest-rated talk show in television history. Seeing the parallel, Ripa approached the media mogul with a direct question: "Should this be my signal?" Oprah's response was immediate and emphatic: "Don't leave. Don't do it.
Right now, you'll regret it." Winfrey, looking from the outside in, saw something that Ripa, in the midst of her daily grind, might have been taking for granted: the rare and vital chemistry she has with her husband, Mark Consuelos. She said, "With you and Mark, the show is more important than ever. People really relate to it, and they need that in this world of a lot of darkness and an endless 24-hour, never-ending news cycle." It was a profound reality check. Oprah recognized that Live with Kelly and Mark had inadvertently become a sort of public service in an anxious age. In a media landscape dominated by doom scrolling and political division, the playful married couple banter between Kelly and Mark offered viewers a respite. It was a safe space. To walk away from that, Oprah warned, would be to abandon a hungry audience. Ripa took the advice to heart. Reflecting on the conversation, she lightheartedly noted that while Oprah saved her from a hasty decision, she didn't provide a specific exit strategy. She said, "I need to actually ask her, you said not to leave at 25, but what year? What are we thinking? Give me an idea of how far beyond 25 I should go." For now, Ripa is heeding the advice and staying put, guided by a simple, pragmatic philosophy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We are really having a very good time.
Despite the Oprah intervention calming immediate fears of a departure, Ripa has not stopped thinking about the long game. Her recent interviews reveal a host who is deeply invested in the mechanics of legacy, specifically succession planning. This is where Ripa's vision diverges from the typical celebrity ego. Rather than viewing the show as a vehicle for her own personality that must end when she does, she speaks about it with the detachment of a network executive. "I want to see this show stay on the air as long as linear TV lives," she told Variety. "The show is far more important than any two hosts, so I just want the show to live forever because it's a really, really great piece of history. It's also a great way for people to have worry-free TV that they can watch with their kids." This franchise mentality has led her to think about how to manage a transition when the time eventually does come. She envisions a gradual, almost engineered handoff, a far cry from the sudden and sometimes tumultuous changes the show has seen in the past, most notably the abrupt departure of Michael Strahan in 2016. "I think there's a way to sort of get new people on board and have them test co-hosts and get the audience used to other people," she explained. "I think it's important. I love this show too much to see it sort of ever end with us." It is a remarkably mature and generous view of her own role. She is essentially advocating for a system where the audience is gently introduced to the next generation of hosts while she is still there to pass the torch, ensuring that the franchise she helped build doesn't crumble when she finally decides to take a permanent vacation. However, not everyone in the industry is buying the existential crisis narrative. As soon as Ripa's comments about retirement hit the press, a counter-narrative emerged from the shadows of the television industry, painting a much more pragmatic and cynical picture of the situation. Speaking to the National Enquirer via AOL, a network source suggested that these periodic flirtations with the idea of leaving are part of a well-established pattern. Every so often, when she feels like she's not getting enough attention internally, she floats the idea of stepping away, the source claimed. According to this insider, Ripa's public musings serve a dual purpose. They remind the network of her immense value while also securing the kind of high-level reassurance that comes with being a top talent. Kelly likes to feel seen, and when she doesn't, the "maybe I'll leave" talk starts, the source added. This narrative suggests that the retirement talk is less about an actual desire to quit and more about contract negotiation and personal validation. Bowling down a reported $22 million a year, Ripa is in the upper echelon of TV earners, and ensuring that the network remains fussed over her is a standard, if unspoken, part of the game. "It's not a resignation, it's a reminder," a senior staffer allegedly said. Executives fuss over her, reassure her how valuable she is to the franchise. There are meetings, praise, promises, and just like that, the storm passes. If true, it reframes the entire conversation.
The emotional reflection fans witnessed on screen wasn't necessarily the preamble to a farewell, but rather a powerful, indirect communication to the corner office. Adding another layer to the complexity of Ripa's mindset is the reality that Live is currently undergoing significant behind-the-scenes changes. The show is not just a two-person act, it is a massive production machine run by a team of veterans who have been there for decades. According to reports, many of the long-time employees who have shaped the show are reaching retirement age. This natural turnover is creating an atmosphere of transition. When the familiar faces behind the cameras, the producers, the directors, the crew who have been the bedrock of the show start to leave, it inevitably forces the on-air talent to reconsider their own place in the new order. Ripa has built her career on loyalty and consistency. Watching her work family age out and move on is likely a jarring experience. It forces a confrontation with the passage of time that is harder to ignore than a number on a calendar. While the show's executive producer, Michael Gelman, remains a constant, the changing of the guard elsewhere contributes to the sense that Live is entering a new era, one where Ripa has to decide if she wants to build a new team or eventually follow the old one out the door. Amidst all the speculation about leaving, one factor seems to be the strongest argument for her staying: Mark Consuelos. Ripa has been candid about the differences in their hosting styles. She admitted it took her a grueling 8 years to stop feeling terrified in the hosting chair, while Consuelos looked like a natural from day one. What surprised me about Mark is how comfortable and good at it he was immediately. Where it took me 8 years to become comfortable, it took him maybe 8 days, she marveled. Working with her husband has reinvigorated the show. After years of professional partnerships, she now gets to share the desk with her life partner. The dynamic is fresh, unpredictable, and, according to the ratings, exactly what viewers want. Even Oprah pointed to this dynamic as the reason the show is more important than ever. However, working with a spouse isn't without its unique frustrations. In a moment of hilarious candor on a podcast, Ripa revealed that Consuelos sometimes brings his husbandly habits to work, specifically the ability to tune her out. "He doesn't listen to me frequently, and he will tune me out while we are live on the air," she revealed. "I'm like, here's the thing, I'm used to you tuning me out in life, but when you are being paid, highly paid by the way, to literally listen to me, then you have to listen to me." This is the secret sauce of the current iteration of Live. It is authentic. It is a real marriage playing out in real time, complete with eye rolls, inside jokes, and the occasional frustration. For Ripa, leaving now would mean walking away from the most creatively fulfilling and personally enjoyable partnership of her career.
So is Kelly Ripa ready to leave? The evidence suggests a definitive no, at least for the foreseeable future. The Oprah advice was a powerful reset, reminding her of the value of her current role. Her comments about the show being a franchise are not the words of someone looking to pull the plug, but rather someone ensuring the plug can never be pulled. Even her talk of retirement is framed within the context of a future that is not yet here. "I don't intend on working for the rest of my life, but I think we'll all make that decision when the time comes." The operative phrase is "when the time comes," not "now." For now, Ripa seems content to enjoy the ride. She has the validation of a 25-year legacy, the wisdom of Oprah in her back pocket, the love of her family, who surprised her with a touching video montage during her anniversary show, and a daily partnership with her husband that keeps things interesting. The speculation about her future may have been a wake-up call for fans to appreciate her while she's there, but for Kelly Ripa, the wake-up call was different. It was a reminder that while the show must go on, she doesn't have to be the one to end it, and with Mark by her side and Oprah's voice in her ear, she's in no rush to find out what comes next. As she aptly put it, celebrating the absurd and bringing light into people's living rooms is a pretty good way to spend a morning, and she plans to keep doing it, until perhaps Oprah gives her the green light on a specific year.